love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. My face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared.
Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all doing well. We obviously need to talk about it. I was hoping things will pan out a little bit differently, but I was warning how we might not be able to make it to 6,000, subsequently not closing the gaps above. I would not jump to any conclusions yet, but we are having a bit of a problem. We are obviously still left out with the gap staying at around 59.63 to roughly about 59.53. Unfortunately, that's the highest gap we have, and so we still have to close that. Whether that's going to be closed in the future, whether it's going to be closed now, that's kind of the real question. We were warning and talking about this in the community, in the videos and everything, so let's go over the time frame, see what it is that we can see regarding the current price action, whether we're going to continue this or close the gap. This is actually very, very, very unfortunate. To those who understand, this may mean the prolonging of the overall process, whether it's the shorter term cycle, whether it's the long term cycle, doesn't matter. We end up spending more time on doing something that basically forces us to retest the very same levels again and again and again, instead of actually initiating the larger scale movement downwards, which may be a lot more painful than the previous one. In fact, just as quick, basically closing within a couple of months, decimating a year's worth of price action. But until then, we will have lots of uncertainty whether we're gonna turn around and close these gaps or waste more time. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now as we're looking at the charts. On the 1 minute, it really doesn't matter all that much. It does appear to be, by the way, just kind of trace back to the heat map. As you can see, everything is looking very red other than Google having a 3% rally today. Based upon the news of their AI system being having a lot of new features introduced, really nice stuff. Some of it a little bit more interesting, some of it a little bit less interesting. Whether that justifies them holding up 3% above everybody else while everybody else is between 1 to 3% down, I would arguably say that we probably don't expect this to turn around within the remaining 32 minutes. And so it seems like we're going to close red today. Not exactly. I know it sounds so counterintuitive because I'm more bearish than bullish. It appears to be, at least from my personal standpoint of things. But I do prefer to have that bullish wave complete, and only then the market will break down. And so we're going to have more of a streamlined process instead of a stuttery, if you will, very annoying back and forth, which we don't really want to see. So let's talk about what we're seeing on the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, it appears to be that we're probably going to get locked in within the current channel, nothing all that crazy. As you can see, the 20 range and the 100 range kind of in agreement when it comes to that current sleeve we're in, if we will, downwards channel. So most likely we'll retest that channel on the upper end of things. When it comes to our 5 minutes, we are already testing the bottom of our 100 range channel. But our 20, of course, is pointing that we will break below. We'll go break through it. We will see whether that's true or whether we're going to expand the current channel. As you can see, it's being readjusted, meaning we haven't yet had enough points to determine the actual location, although I would argue we're probably sitting right on top of it, and I would argue that this is probably accurate. And so the question is whether we're going to retest here at 20 and then break below the 20, seeing a breakdown towards what appears to be 57.86. In fact, I would want to check with my other charts whether we have anything residing before that. I would arguably say that we should be prepared to pay attention to that 5800, given that it's a round number, probably a psychological level that will get retested, at least on our way down. So 5800 right there, right below us. Then we have 5700, as you can see. Arguably, maybe we're going to give some attention to that 5750. It's kind of sometimes does play a role, 5650, right? But at least for the time being, it appears to be that at 5800 may be the culprit, given the range that we're in right now, given how the market really likes to enter or retest these wedges sometimes. And so if we're looking currently at the 30 minutes, pardon me, I wanted to expand to the 30 minutes. How is that I was on the 5? Right, because that was on the previous chart. Let's see how this works out. If it does, trading view, get on this. Something is not working right with your charts, boys and girls. You got to get this fixed. Okay, in the time being, let's go over with this one. That's not what I was planning to do. Let's go over to the 30 minutes, at least on that range. Looks very bad. We're already out of that range. Again, looks like we're having that spillover, something I was talking about and mentioning. How if the market will spill over before retesting, it will be rather rapid. The real question is, can we from here start correcting? The problem is right now, objectively, we are in oversold territory, meaning we should see an acceleration of the downwards trend or pressure. More so 45 minutes, as it's sort of the bigger, larger scheme of things, as you can see, is also oversold, although the difference is that this range is now having the K dominant, basically the green line bullish dominance within oversold territory, implies that we're going to get somewhat of a sideways sort of price action, at least temporarily. So because we're looking at 45 minutes, we're probably looking at what will happen during whatever is left from this session, and potentially some overnight price action. So overall, we kind of reached oversold conditions. Again, broke out, broke back in, now sitting on the bottom. In other words, I would expect from the 45 minutes to flip over within the following session and show more bearish momentum. Similarly to that 1 hour entanglement retest, of course, that means we may retest all the way back to 58.50. Giving some upwards pressure if we're looking at current resistances when it comes to the 1 minute. I would argue that these, of course, will be broken through. So then we maybe should look at the 5 minutes. 5 minutes gives us a bit of a higher range. We're probably looking at that 58.63 could play out based upon what we're seeing right here on the hourly. On the hourly, we're still seeing that upwards pressure. Let's try and locate where that is. Ah, what a coincidence. That actually resides just where the median is. If you didn't notice, there is a median, a center line to the current channel that you're seeing right here, this center channel, and coincidentally the very next candlestick, meaning the very next hour, meaning that will be the one that prints tomorrow, will potentially retest that junction right here at 58.66. The question is how the rest of the sessions in this upcoming week will look like. Well, guess what? We are bearish full force. And in fact, as you can see again, you can literally identify the bearish momentum taking over. Your candlesticks are red. What is more obvious than this? Now, in fact, we've already changed the trend, the cycle. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Now we're testing merely a normal retest of the bottom of the channel before we continue lower. If this breaks into oversold territory, given how some of that bearish momentum looks like, we'll probably continue printing lower and lower price points and start penetrating the gap we have right here that we need to close. That gap resides roughly around 57.86 all the way to 56.74. So basically it is within the horizon, that within the following sessions, as unfortunate as it is, as much as I would wish to see the gaps close before we continue, it appears to be that we're going to break instead and move towards that 5700 in the following sessions. That's what the market is trying to point out on that 4-hourly chart. Let's see how our daily looks like. Our daily, if it will be very nice, will show us exactly what I was warning you, boys and girls, that we will hit the ceiling of this channel and we'll start correcting downwards. Below and behold, we are actually seeing that very thing starting to play out. I told you how the shoulder right here on the right side will start flipping over, spilling over, if you will, back into the channel, giving way to what was previous low, easily conquering that within the following sessions, giving us roughly around 5,018, I think we have a level right there. So basically what our daily is implying is that the very near sessions will start bringing us lower to 5,000 slowly but surely. Of course, with the retest of some of the levels we have on the way, including 5,400. As you can see, we're testing some of the gaps. But what is our daily saying is hold on to your handles, if you will. Hold on to something, because things are about to get very, very nasty. Again, if I'm wrong, things will continue going higher, maybe closing the gap, but right now we gotta acknowledge at how things look at face value, and at face value, things are looking very, very badly. Pardon me. And if we'll continue at this rate, of course, once penetrating the 80 range and going into the body of the stochastic RSI, accelerating further on, moving quicker towards that 5,400, and as we said, conquering these gaps at 53, subsequently leading to that 5,000. Of course, that's not going to happen overnight. These sort of things usually take at least several sessions, if not at least a couple of weeks. So get ready, that's going to take some time. On our weekly chart, we're starting to see that flattening of the curve right below the 80 range. Something that I warned you, and I did say that this channel may pan out to be, may pan out to be more under this degree. Yes, we were able to penetrate it. This still means nothing. In the end, sort of in the overall scheme of things, those who are familiar, there is a cyclical structure that's going on, one of which you can kind of identify right here on the screen right now, sort of a head and shoulders formation. Guess what? As we're coming to an end of a completion of this shoulder, we're about to move lower, in fact achieve lower lows, lower than before. That 4,800 will look very, very, very nice and very juicy when we will hit that 46, 4,500 within several weeks from now. Again, that's give or take a rough assessment. I'm not saying that's the time frame. It may take, in fact, a couple of months, right? This is not how we do things. We're not timing the market as much as we're identifying the locations and the targets to which the market is going to be moving. Now, below and behold, no, it's not surprising that this, coincidentally, that level, so that direction, that movement we're about to start doing, matches very neatly with our current channel. As I was warning, the 20 range channel on the weekly is very indicative of the direction the market is going to take, at least for the upcoming months. Now, If we're switching to the monthly, as you can see, not a lot has changed. We still roughly have about 9 days. If we're really going to truly look at this, we have, well, this today is done. We have tomorrow and Friday and next week. I don't think we have any breaks next week. So we're basically left with 7 days altogether. A true week numerically to the end of the month. Once that month, so not 9, but rather 7 days once this is complete. Arguably, at these 7 days, we'll see a continuation of the downtrend, as the most of time frames now are implying. Of course, following mainly our daily. Our daily will function as a very good guideline to whether we're going to be moving faster, sooner, or basically whether we're going to sooner be arriving at that 5,400, or whether that's going to take at least a couple of weeks. So in other words, all the time frames, if you noticed, are pointing towards a downwards trend, and those who are not yet full-on bearish are about to enter bearish territory or are signaling in advance towards a bearish move, whether it's our channels, whether it's our 100 on our daily, whether it's our 20 on the weekly. It doesn't matter. Slowly but surely, the channels are flipping over and indicating to us with the momentum that the direction the market is about to take is inside the framework of this channel. Of course, it may vary. The process may vary. We may reach lows quicker. We may break through the lows just to retest the median. Of course, these scenarios will be identified once we get closer to the bottom. This is almost like looking basically 2 corners around. Although we're getting closer to the point where this is going to be visible. Once it does, of course, we will talk about it. It still is inconclusive whether we're going to have another similar rally, making it all the way to what would be a similar high to before, roughly at around 5,500. I realize a lot of people will try to rely on this and capitalize on this. I would arguably say don't plan on this until you see proper evidence and certainty that this may pan out, because the market may reach the bottom and then just slide downwards within the sort of framework of this diagonal wedge, just to end up breaking down lower, or maybe, yes, retesting that very channel. But since this channel, of course, will not be at the very same area once we do retest at that later stage, guess what? That will be merely a retest of that 4,800, which is currently matches with what is our floor. So, well, yeah. So what will become ceiling, if I could be able to draw better. Oh my God, that looks like a sad person right there. But basically, that sad person pattern. The overall market will be very sad person right here. It will be very sad with 2 little X's on their eyes like that, with a very big frown like that. That's how the market pattern person will look like at that stage of things, because people who try to capitalize will end up screwing themselves over, getting themselves stuck in the market at a high average, and then, well, being pushed downwards further lower in the very same channel that we were discussing and warning about, moving you closer and closer to the targets that I was talking about, closer to the end of or middle of 2026. So this process may take quite a while, and what I'm saying in terms of 2026 is just a rough guesstimate in terms of time, because we don't time the market. As I said, we identify the trends, the movement strength, the direction, and by so we can identify which support and resistance levels potentially will be the ones that the market will get caught on and retest. And so for the current time, of course, we're hyper focused on our near-term levels, which is 4,800, 5,000, and so. Those who don't know, let me remind you, by the way, those numbers are very, very important to our community. Those who don't know, I offer one-on-one tutoring, one-on-one academy, where I teach you in a one-on-one session, once or twice a week, depending on the schedule you make. Sometimes we can even marathon it, basically plow through the thing. It's an 11-session academy, 1-hour sessions, sometimes even longer, in which I actually teach you step by step what is the importance of the price levels. Remember, when the SPX hits 5,000, the price of the academy will be increased, right? It will be hiked to 3,500 instead of 3,000 as it is right now. So definitely take the opportunity, don't miss out. And worse, when the market does hit 4,000, heads up, it's good. The price of the academy will be hitting 4,000. And so, yes, will be price increases to the Academy. If you want to know how good the Academy is, I highly recommend checking out these testimonials from my members, from students already studied in the Academy and graduated and have this skill set. Pay attention to what they are saying. Those people already have these tools available to them, and the market is pretty much demystified, clear, and they are independent on their own actions and portfolio management. And so I highly recommend checking out and taking the Academy, because the price will be higher soon. More so, another very important announcement is in the Patreon. If you do want to sign up and you feel like the Academy is a little bit too big of a thing for you, by the way, this is just a small part of what the One-on-One Academy offers. If you feel like the Academy is a little bit too big on you right now, or something you can't afford or whatever, you can join our community on the Discord that you just saw. It's 100% private Discord, no scammers, no bullshit, no nothing. The only way to join the Patreon, the Discord, is via Patreon. First, you have to become a paying member on Patreon. People who are on free memberships will stay outside, will not be able to enter. That it is what it is. Now, well, it is what it is. For quality, you gotta pay, and obviously the offer is very, very cheap. And actually, right now, it's 60% discounted. The advanced tier will cost you $40 a month instead of costing you $100 a month, which it will be in about 9 days' time. In about 9 days' time, the $40 tier, the advanced tier, will be hiked to $100. So if you want to join, now is the time. Otherwise, and of course, people who will sign up now will lock in that $40 price, and when the price will be hiked up to $100, you guys will retain that current price that you have right now. So the current advanced tier is 60% discounted. The basic tier will also be hiked, but merely by $10, so not a big deal. But definitely sign up now to lock in a good price so you don't miss out, and you'll always be in the know. And another thing you'll gain from this, by the way, you don't know, is we have continuous members meetings. The members are informed. I talk to them in the open forum on a daily basis, post my charts analysis on various channels that you have. You can see my positions. There are plenty of really cool, nice benefits that you get by joining the community, let alone like-minded people who will be more than happy always to give you a word of advice if they're able to. Of course, you get a lot more access to me, and you get to ask me questions, to the meetings, 1 or 2 meetings depending on the tier you choose, sometimes even more. Sometimes we have more meetings, not including the hangouts. The everyday hangouts are not included. It's a separate thing. And also, of course, how could I forget, if you do become a member and you do join the community, it's very, very important you'll know. Of course, you'll always be informed whenever I go live, but more so, you get community exclusives, ad-free content. Basically, they will oftentimes look like so. In the archives, of course, you can find our members meetings, and you have the Academy partition, which is extra content for those who are students, various charts, analysis, jokes, notes, you name it. And of course, how could I forget meetings? We also have, for the Academy members, meetings that the advanced members get to participate in. That is all. That's all the plugs for now, boys and girls. Definitely do join us on the community. You get to hang out and ask the questions, joke around, analyze together, learn new stuff, all of the above, right? Very, very important stuff, I would argue, for anyone who has more than $1 in the market. I mean, such events like what's happening right now, that my community was more than informed and were prepared for, will not catch you by surprise. In fact, you'll be more than prepared for these. That's it, boys and girls. Get ready for downwards pressure, lots of it. Sadly, it appears to be that it's going to get faster and far more painful than we wanted it to be, but we got to take things that the market gives us at face value. Maybe we'll have some corrections in the upcoming session, at least, before we continue even further downwards. Remember, it's not just all straightforward, just downwards and upwards. We still have retests. Potentially, we're going to retest this channel. As you can see, this very channel that we have on the screen right now was acknowledged and retested several times, so it's not going to be all that surprising if the market may end up retesting the bottom of the channel, as we said before, and the bottom and the junction of these areas and then continuing downwards. We were just warning how various forces are now together affecting the price action, and subsequently we should be expecting more bearish pressure within the following sessions, and sadly even accelerating. As I said, I did want to see the gaps get closed. That would have allowed me to operate in this market with a lot greater ease. This is not great that we're leaving this behind. But we'll see. We'll see how things will pan out. Remember, even if we end up closing these gaps, still doesn't change the overall structure. In fact, we were waiting for that to happen. That may pan out to be the very final leg of the overall harmonic structure that we were waiting for, because it doesn't break above what was previous high. So on the technical side of things, it falls perfectly in line. Although, by the way, secretly between us, boys and girls, it is allowed to do that. But based upon this momentum, it's not looking like it's going to do that. Another thing, those who are wondering what happened to the individual stock analysis, no, we don't do them anymore on the lives. We do them only for the community members on their private meetings. The members get to ask for their stocks, and I get to talk to them back and forth. It's more of a dynamic sort of thing. It's a lot more fun. People get better answers. No ass or fart, no ass crooked ass pattern. Absolutely. You pay 1 Pepe coin. Johnny, 1 Pepe coin. Yes, we love Pepe. Pepe is quite a character in our community. Boys and girls, I love you all. It was a great call. I'll see you in the community, in the members hangout. And of course, we'll be able to go over your individual stocks. And sadly, I mean, we were warning about how things will pan out to be exactly as we said, and guess what? Again, we really were retesting that 300. That was really all it was. The 333. Jesus and some Gouda. Alrighty, so you see again, it kind of is a normal process. We go from high to low to just retest a lower high to just continue the downwards trend. Exactly as I was warning before we done this thing, literally about 2 months ago. So there you go. Apparently somebody can predict the market in advance. Boys and girls, love you much. See you on the next one.